Hello, monsters abound here, and welcome to Motemancer, or at least the demo of Motemancer, which was available at the Steam Next Fest. Have you ever been playing Factorio? I know you have, because Factorio is great, and thought, you know what, this is great, but it would be so much better if I could play as a sexy alchemist. Yeah, me too, had that thought. So, Motemancer is the solution to that question, and you get to play as I'm assuming it's sexy anyway because they got thigh-high boots on, so that's probably sexy. And this is basically fantasy Factorio is what this is. So we are playing as an alchemist, and we have motes. This is a little tutorial-y bit, and it will show that we can create salt from shadow, water, and earth, and we can create ether from wind, life, and fire. And then we can create whatever the fuck those things are. Proper alchemy shit. That stuff. Good. Okay, then we move around. Lovely. And there's us. We're running around. We can zoom in and zoom out. There's the boss. We are I don't know. Are we like a youngster? Because we're quite small, aren't we? Well, so we now learn all about how to do stuff. So being an alchemist is all about creating machines, apparently. And mining green stuff like this stuff over here, and purple stuff like this stuff over here. So we currently have a simple collector. This simple collector is collecting motes of shadow. This one is collecting motes of life. And we have a grindstone here. So this is outputting into the grindstone there. The grindstone is then being, stuff is being picked out by a simple gripper, which is transporting stuff into the simple chest. But nothing is currently working. We need to get this working, right? And to do that, we are going to create a big blue ball in the middle. There we go. Boom. Job done. Now the big blue ball, we can create these all over the place, and we will be creating them all over the place. We can, let's see, I can make more of them. Blue balls for all. Lovely. And these will slowly dissipate energy. So some of this will be consumed, so you can see 110 consumed. Total generated is 1,000. So this will slowly tick down. You can see it's already starting to tick down now, and that will power everything nearby. So we can pick out the stuff from the chest, and that's what the boss wanted. We can go back and go, hey look, I managed to pick stuff out of a chest. And he's like, good job, idiot. This is what your student loan is paying for. But unfortunately, things are going to kick off when, oh no, elements are exploding. We need to get the shit out of Dodge. So the boss is going to send us through a portal alone. Passage over. Return to plane is not possible until the portal is restored from the other side. I understand. Oh shit, son. Oh, we've got to go through. Okay, well, I really like this effect actually. Look at that. Isn't that nice? What a good effect that is. I really like that. That's really good. Anyway, we are now through into the plane of life. We can meander around and have a look. So, we now have to complete some objectives. So the first objective is to harvest some motes. I am going to come to... I've been playing this a little bit, and I've generally been really enjoying what I've been doing. But I will say there are some issues with this. So, while I think this is generally a very good game, I think it's particularly one aspect of it I think is not working. But with that said, like, this is just the demo. The game isn't even out there, so there's plenty of time for some rebalancing. I don't think the issues the game has are insurmountable. I think it is basically just balancing, and that kind of thing obviously just takes time, doesn't it? I mean, you could compare it with Factorio, but the thing is, Factorio's been out for ages, right? Factorio's been out for years and years and years. It's had so much time to mature. So it's no surprise that older games are just more balanced. So we're going to grab some motes here. So growing motes of water from these bits, and we can grab motes of life from these bits. And then once we've done some of that, we can claim. Boom. And that's going to give us the next objective. We need to create some ether and some salt in our inventory. So to do that, we just need to click here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that will then complete for us. I'm just going to clean up some bits around here, and then we can claim that. Excellent. So now we've got the objective to craft some simple collectors and a grindstone. Obviously, we can use the mana flare, the big blue balls, to operate those, to keep them Now, at the moment, we don't have any way of automating anything. We're going to have to do this all by hand, which is kind of a pain in the ass, but you know, that's how all these games start, right? You always start doing a little bit by hand, and then you start to be able to automate it. That's exactly no different here. I would say the start of this game is pretty good. I think that the start is balanced, and then it kind of goes out of whack later. So we're just going to clean this up, because this is our sort of moat of water drawing location. This is where we're going to put our collectors. So I will say that the resources here are pretty light, and these will drain very, very quickly, which does force you to look for additional places to collect resources from pretty quickly, actually. Okay, so we've done that much. So, we'll go to production, and I want 1, 2, 3 grindstones. I'll make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 collectors. And while those are being constructed on our little pocketses, I will just clean up this area. I do like these kind of games just because it's so much fun to get everything hooked together. It's something about making a big machine, isn't it? And then watching it run. It's very satisfying. Like making the efficiency, hooking the bits together. That's what I love about these games. And this looks really nice, actually. Like, it's a nice looking game. So we are going to slap down 1, 2. I am actually going to do that. And then we can put a blue ball right in the middle. And then we got some collectors. So collectors are going to, well, as the name suggests, they're going to collect. Surprise, surprise. Let's just put like 3 like that. And then I'm going to put 1 there. And 1 there. Right, so that should start collecting the water motes for us, but we've got some life motes over here that we also need to do. We can also claim that one, and that is now going to give us the infusion altar and the pedestals. And that is basically our research, so how we research stuff. I mean, I say research. Okay. Okay. That's a good start. So we'll grab all these bits from here, just clean up the general area. We let those tick along. To be honest, what I might do is we're gonna need more of them anyway, so we may as well just keep upgrading. Just keep building them. Right, we'll grab all that, and then we'll come over here. And to make salt, we need either water or rock, so we can... I don't think we need this for anything else, so we can dump all of them in there. And that will start ticking along. Then we can come over here and grab the life motes from this one. And like so. I might grab a few more while we're... Seeing as I need to clear this area out anyway. Nope, didn't suck that bush off. Okay. Right, so we'll meander over this way, and we can dump the motes of life in here as well. Right, that is now ticking along. We can grab the salt out of that. And then we need to create the salt prisms. So to do that, we need salt and ether. So we'll pop the salt in there, and we'll grab some of this stuff out of here, and we'll dump that in there. And that will then start creating the salt prisms. Perfect. But we do need more. So we'll just keep dumping. There we go. That'll keep them going for a minute. And we're kind of just doing this by hand at the moment, but that's because, you know, we cannot have to. It's all we got, all right? For the moment, we're just going to have to do it by hand. But don't worry, because logistics is just around the corner. It's the bit we're all waiting for, isn't it? It's the conveyor belts and shit. So now we've got a little bit of resources that we need. We need to create an infusion altar and a couple of pedestals. So we'll get those ticking along. I'll grab... do I want some more of these? Yeah. How much we got? 35. That's probably enough to be getting on with for the moment. We can always make some more later. There's no urgent. We got plenty of stuff going on at the moment. This is just to get us started, right? We're not worried too much. So, fusion altar. Boom. Now, the infusion altar has a little blue area around it, and we need to pop down a couple of these things, and then we need to pop one of you in there, and one of you in there. And yes, it is that annoying, it is that slow, it can only take one at a time. Tedious, eh? But through the magic of, I don't know, pedestals, they slowly get sucked in the center, and boom! We have now unlocked the research tree. So this is a research tree, and it's sort of node-based, so you jump from one node to another. So we've researched this in Fusion. We can then research simple logistics by doing 2 more of them. Easy peasy. So we just do this. I need to do this a couple more times, but that is fine. Then we just need to... there, right. Then logistics can start. So now research this, so we can go, boom, simple logistics. Simple logistics will give us simple chests and simple grippers, which is exactly what we need. So we'll get a couple of chests and a couple of grippers. And instantly, life is made easier. So we'll do that and that. So these grip one from one area and dump it into another. And we'll put a chest there and a chest there. And then we can dump all of the prisms in there. All of the ether in there, and then we just need to power it. Boom, and there we go. So now that's doing that for us, and we don't have to do anything. Already things are looking up. Okay, next big milestone, that's the one. Shifting slabs. What are shifting slabs, you ask? Well, of course, they're conveyor belts. So we can now... craft some conveyor belts. Aha. Oh, yeah. Now it's all coming together, isn't it? Okay, so we'll grab all this stuff out of here. We need to regenerate our blue balls, because otherwise stuff will stop working. Right, we are going to want some more of these. We just... let's go with that one. Yeah, that'll do. Right, blue ball. Blue ball. Blue ball. And then we can do our conveyor belts. So we'll have it going this way. There we go. And already we've got stuff on the conveyor belt. Now you notice that the conveyor belts, they're only one thing on a conveyor belt at a time. That's for this conveyor belt. We get different conveyor belts later, and they can have a little bit more. They can have stuff either side, so it increases the amount of stuff you can have on a conveyor belt. That is kind of a problem, but we'll get to that later when we finally get access to that conveyor belt. It is going to take a little while, so for the moment we're just going to have to make do with what we've got. There we go, that's a little bit better. So now we've got water motes coming in this way, we've got life motes coming in this way, and we are creating ether on this side and salt on this side, which means this is now all automated, which means we don't need this anymore. So let's get rid of that one. Alright, we did learn a tech. We've got Tinkerer's Table, and that's actually the last of the Salt Prism and Ether techs that we can get. Although, we can actually get Salt Prism, Ether, Shifting Slab, and Simple Grinder techs down here. So we need all 4 of those ingredients being put into an altar to be able to start progressing that way. But we can get Salt, Prism, Ether, and Shifting Slab on this side, and we will get the underground slab. Now the underground slab is incredibly useful, which means what I might do is just start like dumping stuff in here. So what did we need? Where is it? We needed salt prism, ether, and shifting slab. So if I take that out, in fact, I need take that, salt prism, ether. Actually, that's fine, isn't it? So we put more of you in there. put more of you in that. Basically, I need salt prisms. And then I also need shifting slabs is what I need. Yes, okay. So we will get another pedestal. We'll get another simple chest, which means we don't need a pedestal because we would have used the pedestal for something else. And we need another simple gripper. And then we can use that to... There we go. Then we can pop you there. I need a chest there and then a simple gripper there. Right. Okay, I need prisms, but we only need like 20 of them, I think. It might just be easier to make them by hand for the moment, and then I can worry about doing more of them in a minute. Once we've got the underground themajigs. There we go. So we only need 20 of those. So if I make some more slabs, we should have enough to get started. And we now have underground slab. Underground slab is incredibly important because it gives us a way of weaving our shifting slabs in and out of each other, which we just didn't have before. We got a little prism line up now. So I'm using the underground ones to basically skip underneath them and create a nice line there. Currently, that's the only way we can do it. We don't have any long-range grippers, and we can only have one item per conveyor belt. So we're kind of limited in what we can actually achieve at the moment. However, we now have elemental binding, which means we can make elemental water, life, and earth. Which is handy. So we need more of that, which I've currently I've done it manually, but it's kind of working, and we won't need this for very much longer anyway. So for the moment, we're just rolling with this. Oh, doesn't this look good? Okay, so we've got ether here, we've got salt coming in here, we've got the prisms are being turned into shifting slabs, which is handy, and we can now claim the next part, our objective, and also we've completed the next part of our technology, which increases duration of mana flare by 50%, which is quite handy. And we've now unlocked the life tree. Now the life tree seems to be based around energy production, so in theory, it's there to sort of help you, wean yourself off the blue balls, because, maintaining all of these things is kind of a pain in the ass. What I would say is it doesn't really manage to do that. I'll show you what I mean in a second. I want everyone to be impressed with what I've done here. So, we've got our life motes being turned into elemental life over here with the salt, see? And it's got being transported. And we've also got the prisms coming in. Now, to do the next part of the research, which is the tree of life, we need to use elemental life and the prisms. So what I've done here is a nice little bit of jiggery pokery, because this is basically all I can do, but we're taking some of the prisms off the prism line, feeding it underneath into this one, and we're doing the same with the elemental life on this side, basically feeding it into. So we've got two altars on the go at the same time. Yes! Oh, score! Friggin' love this stuff. Oh, this is all run out of energy because I have not been taking care of my blue balls. So, once we've got the Tree of Life going on, you might think, well, energy is solved, right? Keeping the blue balls up is kind of a nightmare, and the life tree will kind of give you the solution to this problem. No, it doesn't, unfortunately. It doesn't do anything of the sort. So, unfortunately, the energy production that you get from the life tree is just bad. Basically, doesn't really help anything. We'll see it in a minute once I've got it up and running. But yeah, it doesn't really help. So we end up just using the blue balls basically forever because energy production is a bit of a friggin' nightmare, which I think is a big problem in this game. But as I say, this is a demo, so there's plenty of time for the balancing sort of fix problems like that. So this is the energy production. So we've got this like little, I don't know what it's called, but it's basically a power plant. What is it? A mana cultivator. There we go. So we just need to power this little collector here, and that should start mining motes, and then it'll pass it into the mana cultivator, and then that should generate energy by itself. Yep, there we go. Fantastic. Right, then we can get rid of that. And now it's producing energy. But as you can see, it's only producing energy in a 1 hex radius around it, which is not really that handy. But what we do have is these roots, and roots can be used to generate more power by like putting it. So we could do this, right? We could generate power like that, but as you can see, it takes up a slot, and yeah, it does take up a slot. You can't put anything on it. It takes up the slot. It's not being built up. It's not underneath or anything. It's literally taking up space. So how do we fit that into our production? Well, obviously that's going to be really, really hard. In fact, I'll go so far as to say it's going to be basically impossible. Unfortunately, it just doesn't really make much sense to do it. But we do need to do that just so we can claim this. Now, we will eventually get access to the mana bloom, but I'll show you why that isn't really that helpful. But by completing that, we have unlocked 2 additional trees. We've got the flow, we've got the water tree, and we've also got the foundation of earth. That's the rock tree. And we can now get some additional things. So for example, we can get the streamway, which is a much more effective conveyor belt, because it can carry 2 things at the same time, side by side. And we also get the reaching grabber, which can grip things from further away, as the name suggests. So both of these things are fairly handy, although there are issues with these 2 as well. So we'll see that in a moment once I have managed to get them up and running. Oh, finally, we've got biorhythm. This is the real solution to our power problems because it's a new spell. So we can do this, and what this will do is if we run near any orbs, they will instantly refill, which obviously makes life a lot easier because I don't need to click on anything anymore. Oh, so much better. Look at that. It does still mean we need to run to them to do it, but it really does save a lot of time. Look at that. Just boom. Oh yeah. Right. So the other thing we can do is create a mana bloom. Now, mana blooms are basically a way of like putting power further afield, but as you can see, they're so fucking huge. They're huge, and also the area around them is fuck all. I think they're about 3 wide, and I think they generate power in a 3 width around them. So basically, they're about as wide as they generate power, which makes them kind of hot trash. Like I would need to put them right in the middle here, and then even then they wouldn't get the ones at the end. It's just not very good, to be honest. I don't see the point in them. I mean, I guess I could put some along here and that would power them. But it just... I'd need like 2 of the bloody things, and they wouldn't even power the grippers on the edge. So I don't know. They just feel like completely useless. I don't really think that Motemancer is... Like early on, I think it hits the beach, right? The fun thing about Factorio and about Satisfactory is when you come across a problem, but the game is going to give you the solution to it. When you go, oh, doing this is now a pain in the ass, and the game goes, that's fine. Here's a solution to automate it. Now go and implement that. Motemancer, on the other hand, goes, here's a problem, here's a thing, by the way, that ain't gonna fix it. it's just going to be annoying. And I think that's the big problem with it. Like this is not a solution to power issues. It does nothing, right? It's not a good. Ultimately, you're supposed to work out how to get, I think, leaves. You can generate leaves or something, and that's a better source of fuel for it. But the problem is, although I can make a better source of fuel for it, it's unusable as a power generation system. So why would I bother? So you just kind of end up using this and blue balls all over the place, because that is a much better solution to your problem, which is not, I think, what the game wants you to do, but is what the game is making you do. So that's kind of a problem in my opinion. I guess that'll have to do. Yeah, so power generation is kind of a nightmare in this game, which is a bit of a shame. But at least we can get some better conveyor belts, can't we, with water or something. So we've got our Earth research on the go, and we also have got access to the Streamway, which is a new type of conveyor belt. However, this also has a problem. The problem is this, that it doesn't feed in. It's a completely different type of conveyor belt, which means you can't link the two, use them together, or anything like that. You can't have a slate one like drop items onto a river. You would need a grabber to go and grab them off, which is kind of annoying. I mean, it's doable. It's just, you know, kind of annoying. Now, the nice thing about this one is that you can have it, it can have items on both sides. If I can find somewhere to actually dump items onto it. It kind of is the problem. It's like, by the time you've managed to get it, you've solved the problem of not being able to do it. So unless you're constructing something brand new, there's no point replacing what you've got, because I've kind of made it work without it. So there's no point upgrading it, nor could you. You'd have to completely start all over again, and it's quite expensive in elemental water, so you can't really do that either. And yeah, by now I've kind of don't. Like, I'd have to rejig entire sections of the factory to actually make it work, and I'm kind of making it work anyway. So overall, I really like this game. Like, I like the aesthetics, and it's a Factorio game, so I mean, I can't not like it, right? It's good shit. But I think there are some fairly glaring issues with the balance. I think it starts off fairly well. I think it's paced fairly well to start off with, but there are issues with the power generation. I don't think that works out very well, and I'm not convinced with the different conveyors, to be honest, at this point. I don't think that works out very well at all. I really think that maybe you should maybe this water one should just be an upgrade. Like, it should just be faster than this one, and this one can carry 2 items at the same time anyway, and then you don't need to worry too much about it. Getting the long-range grabber is quite handy, but again, you kind of, by the point you've got to this, you kind of fix that problem. I guess maybe it would work better with the deep roots. So if you were to like put them everywhere, it gives you a little bit more space. Maybe this game is supposed to be a bit more spaced out than other Factorio games where everything's a bit more sort of like, you know, congested because you're trying to be as efficient as possible with space. Maybe this game's like, no, spread out as far as you want. Maybe it's aiming towards that. I don't know, but it just doesn't feel quite there yet. But I think for a demo, it is very promising, and I do like the sort of like the fantasy aesthetics of the game. I do think that is quite nice. But there we go. So that is Motemancer. If Factorio is your kind of jam, then this is definitely worth a look, and the demo is available on Steam at the moment. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.